Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and lush green fields, there lived a kind-hearted farmer named Jack. He was known for his warm smile and generous nature. Jack had a small farm where he grew crops and tended to a few animals. One day, while he was working in his fields, Jack noticed a strange sight. A magnificent golden goose was grazing nearby. Jack couldn't believe his eyes. He had never seen such a beautiful creature before. As he approached the golden goose, it laid a single golden egg on the ground. Overwhelmed with excitement, Jack carefully picked up the precious egg and took it home. To his amazement, the next morning, the golden goose laid another golden egg. Day after day, the goose continued to lay a golden egg, and soon Jack's farm was filled with piles of gleaming gold. Word about the magical golden goose spread like wildfire, and people from neighboring villages came to witness the wonder for themselves. Among those who heard the news was a greedy farmer named Henry. When Henry saw the golden eggs and the wealth they brought to Jack, he couldn't help but feel envious. Filled with greed, Henry devised a plan to steal the golden goose from Jack. One dark and stormy night, he sneaked into Jack's farm and managed to capture the unsuspecting goose. But little did he know that the magic of the golden goose could not be contained by mere theft. The next morning, to Henry's dismay, the goose refused to lay any golden eggs. He shook the goose, shouted at it, and even tried to force it to lay an egg, but nothing worked. The golden goose remained silent and motionless, as if it had lost its magical abilities. As days turned into weeks, Jack noticed that his golden goose seemed sad and miserable. He missed the loving care and kindness that Jack had shown him. Deep down, the goose longed to return to its home, where it had been treated with respect and compassion. Meanwhile, Henry's farm was not as prosperous as he had hoped. Without the golden eggs, he couldn't maintain the lavish lifestyle he had dreamed of. He had allowed his greed to blind him to the consequences of his actions. One evening, as Henry sat alone and dejected, he heard a faint quack outside his window. He peered outside and saw the golden goose standing in the pouring rain, looking weak and tired. Guilt and remorse washed over Henry as he realized the terrible mistake he had made. Filled with regret, Henry rushed outside, picked up the golden goose, and apologized for his greed and selfishness. He then brought the goose back to Jack's farm and handed it back with a sincere apology. As the golden goose returned to its familiar surroundings, it seemed to come alive again. The next morning, it laid a golden egg as if to forgive and thank Jack for his kindness. From that day on, the golden goose continued to produce golden eggs, but this time it shared its riches not only with Jack but with the entire village. The moral of the story is that greed can lead to bad choices and unhappiness. Jack's kindness and compassion were rewarded, while Henry's greed caused him to lose everything. It reminds us all that true wealth lies not only in material possessions but also in the goodness of our hearts and the kindness we show to others.